They say Billie Holiday died from the hard life of addiction and fame. But what if I told you the American government systematically destroyed the most dangerous black woman who ever lived? Not dangerous because she carried weapons or led riots. Dangerous because she sang 3 minutes and 12 seconds that made white people see lynched black bodies swinging from trees. Federal agents followed her for 20 years. They arrested her on her deathbed. They stripped away her ability to earn a living in New York City, all because she refused to stop singing a song that made America face its own brutality. Today, we're exposing how Harry Anslinger and the Federal Bureau of Narcotics turned Billie Holiday into a target and then into a casualty. This is the story they never wanted you to piece together. Picture this scene from 1939. You walk in the Cafe Society in Greenwich Village, one of the few truly integrated nightclubs in America. The room goes completely silent. No clinking glasses, no whispered conversations. A single spotlight cuts through the darkness and finds Billie Holiday standing at the microphone. Her voice fills the room with words that burn into your memory. Southern trees bear a strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. She's singing about lynching, and she's singing it to a room full of white people who came here to have a good time. By the end of the song, some people are crying, others are walking out, but nobody is forgetting what they just heard. That song was called Strange Fruit, written by a Jewish schoolteacher from the Bronx named Abel Meeropol. He had seen the photograph of Thomas Shipp and Abram Smith, two black teenagers lynched in Marion, Indiana in 1930. Thousands of white people posed for pictures beneath their hanging bodies, like it was a community celebration. Meeropol turned that horror into a poem, then into a song. When Billie Holiday first heard it, she knew it was dangerous. Her record label, Columbia Records, refused to let her record it. Too controversial, they said. Too risky. So she took it to a smaller label and made it anyway. The song became a hit, but it also made her enemies in very high places. Harry Anslinger ran the Federal Bureau of Narcotics from 1930 to 1962. This man had the power to destroy lives, and he used it freely against jazz musicians, especially black ones. Anslinger believed jazz music corrupted America's youth. He made openly racist statements claiming that black musicians were naturally drawn to illegal substances and that their music spread moral decay. But Billie Holiday presented a special problem. She wasn't just some musician he could dismiss. She was bringing images of racial terror into spaces where white Americans couldn't ignore them. And she was doing it with such artistry that they couldn't simply write her off as a troublemaker. Here's where the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. In 1947, just 8 years after Holiday began performing Strange Fruit regularly, federal agents arrested her on illegal substance charges in Philadelphia. She was sentenced to a year and a day in federal prison, but the punishment didn't end there. When Holiday was released, New York City denied her a cabaret card. Without that card, she couldn't perform in any venue that served alcohol in the city. That meant no nightclub performances in the entertainment capital of America. Her career was effectively crippled. Keep in mind, thousands of people in the jazz world struggled with addiction to illegal substances. But how many of them got this level of attention from federal agents? By the way, if stories like this matter to you, subscribe to Black Stories Untold. We're exposing the hidden patterns they don't want you to see. Now, back to what they did to Billie Holiday next. Federal agents didn't just arrest Holiday and walk away. They placed her under constant surveillance. They sent black undercover agents to infiltrate her inner circle and report back on her activities. They monitored her performances and tracked her movements across the country. One agent, Jimmy Fletcher, allegedly spent years getting close to Holiday, building relationships with her and the people around her, all while gathering evidence that could be used against her. Imagine living under that kind of pressure. Every friendship suspect, every conversation potentially monitored, every mistake turned into federal evidence. Meanwhile, Harry Anslinger was building his career on high-profile drug arrests. But his focus on Holiday went beyond professional ambition. Multiple accounts suggest he harbored a personal vendetta against her. When Holiday tried to get clean, When she sought treatment for her addiction, Anslinger reportedly blocked her efforts. He wanted punishment, not rehabilitation. He wanted her destroyed, not recovered. This wasn't standard law enforcement. This was a coordinated campaign of harassment. The cruelest irony is that Holiday's addiction, which began as a personal struggle, became the legal weapon they used to silence her. She was trapped in a vicious cycle. The federal pressure and constant surveillance drove her deeper into addiction. The deeper her addiction became, the more legal ammunition they had against her. They had found the perfect system. Destroy someone slowly while making it look like they were destroying themselves. But here's what makes this even darker. Holiday never stopped performing Strange Fruit. Despite the arrests, despite the lost cabaret card, despite the surveillance, she kept singing that song. She understood what it meant and what it cost her. In her autobiography, she said the song reminded her of her father's death. But more than that, it reminded America of its sins. Every time she sang it, she was refusing to let the country forget about the black bodies that had been turned into decorations on Southern trees. The final act of this persecution came in 1959. Billie Holiday collapsed and was rushed to the hospital, dying from liver disease and heart failure. She was 44 years old. As she lay in her hospital bed, barely conscious, federal agents searched her room. They claimed to find a small amount of illegal substances, so they arrested her again. A woman dying in a hospital bed, and they put a police guard on her door and charged her with possession. She died on July 17, 1959, technically under arrest. Even death couldn't free her from Harry Anslinger's persecution. This is where everything connects and the full picture becomes clear. The federal government couldn't ban Strange Fruit. The First Amendment prevented them from directly censoring the song. But they could destroy the woman who sang it. They could use drug laws, surveillance, and systematic harassment to break down her life piece by piece. They could make her an example to any other artist who might think about using their platform to challenge American racial violence. Harry Anslinger understood something that many people missed. Billie Holiday wasn't just a singer with an addiction problem. She was a black woman who made white audiences confront lynching in a way that intellectual arguments and newspaper articles never could. Her voice carried emotional power that threatened the comfortable lies America told itself about racial progress. The pattern reveals itself when you step back and look at the full scope of what happened. Strange Fruit emerges in 1939. Federal scrutiny intensifies. Holiday gets arrested in 1947. She loses her cabaret card. She faces constant surveillance throughout the 1950s. She dies under police guard in 1959. 20 years of systematic persecution that coincidentally began right after she started forcing America to see its own brutality. 20 years of using addiction as a legal cover for silencing the most dangerous song in American music. What makes this story even more significant is what it reveals about how power really works in America. They didn't need to pass laws banning protest songs. They didn't need to openly admit they were targeting Holiday for political reasons. They just needed to find a legal mechanism to destroy her, then pursue it with unusual intensity and persistence. Drug enforcement became the perfect tool because addiction carried social stigma. People would assume Holiday brought her troubles on herself. The persecution could hide behind the addiction, and the addiction could hide the political motivation for the persecution. Today, when we see artists facing consequences for speaking out against injustice, we're seeing the same playbook. The methods change, but the strategy remains. Find a way to destroy the messenger so you don't have to deal with the message. Billie Holiday's persecution wasn't just about one woman or one song. It was about establishing the price of resistance. It was about showing other black artists what happened when you made white America too uncomfortable with its own history. Billie Holiday died more than 60 years ago, but Strange Fruit outlived both her and Harry Anslinger. The song that made her a target became her legacy. Time magazine called it the song of the century. New generations of artists continue to perform it, understanding both its power and its cost. The federal government thought they could silence the song by destroying the singer. Instead, They turned her into a martyr and her song into an anthem that grows more powerful with each generation that discovers it. The woman they called Lady Day became something they never expected, proof that Black art could be so powerful, so threatening to the established order, that the federal government would spend 20 years and countless resources trying to destroy one person. They succeeded in killing Billie Holiday, but they failed to kill Strange Fruit. And they failed to hide the pattern of persecution that this story exposes. Every time someone sings that song today, they're carrying forward the voice that Harry Anslinger tried so hard to silence. That might be the most dangerous legacy of all. This was Black Stories Untold, and as always, thanks for watching. If you want more stories like this, click the video on your screen now.